Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the...
The executive arm of government hosts 81 ministers of cabinet and state. Occupying these positions comes with a cost to Ugandans, 60% of whom struggle to meet their necessities. Sampling from the Ministry of Finance, it has the Minister for Finance, Matia Kasaija, State Minister for Economic Planning, Amos Lugolobi, State for Privatization, Evelyn Anite, State for Microfinance, Haruna Kasoro, and State for General Duties, Henry Msasi. A cabinet minister takes 60 million shillings comprising of housing, salary and allowances. On top of this is fuel, a support vehicle, a lead patrol, security at home and personal, and medical insurance. To aid his work, a car of at least 500 million shillings is accorded to him by the ministry. But in a scenario where minister is also an MP, the entitlement finds him with extra resources but costly to the taxpayer. This means he has a government-fueled car and another car accorded to him as a member of parliament at 200 million shillings and the necessary allowances.
The scenario that we face is that when you have a situation where civil servants are richer than those in the businesses, when they have no product in the market, they have no line of production, they have no... But the only thing they derive their income from is the salaries. That generates questions. What do you produce for the market? Nothing. But you are richer than somebody who is producing for the market.
With 21 cabinet ministers, this would draw a salary of 1.2 billion shillings, and if at all government spends equally on them at 60 million, then the cabinet costs 5.2 billion shillings in remuneration, a salary they draw from Parliament Commission budget. And if all cabinet ministers get a car worth at least 500 million, then the total cost is 10.5 billion.
That's why the total cost of transporting public officials in Uganda now stands at 750 billion. We are spending money for buying fuel, 310 billion. We are spending money to maintain vehicles, about 200. We're also spending money to replace vehicles when they grow old, which is also about 200.
The Member of Parliament for Chimbiri, Eddie Kwizera, cites what he calls anomalies that the government needs to iron out. The Secretary General to National Resistance Movement, Richard Todong, is alive to the effect the hefty cost of public service is causing the taxpayer.
In Uganda, in our laws, you cannot do full-time jobs. 2 full-time jobs is prohibited. If a Member of Parliament is a full-time. So even ministers are full-time. So you cannot have 2 instruments of appointment that you are full-time Member of Parliament and you are full-time minister.
The administration of Parliament indicates that once you're a Member of Parliament, you should be given means of transport. So is it fair for you to get double share from government, that the government gives you free vehicle as a minister and then Parliament also gives you money for a vehicle as a Member of Parliament? Or should we say, or we amend the law to say, once you have been nominated as a minister, you refund what Parliament has given you?
While the government remains silent on reforms to reduce the cost of administration, Richard Todong says government jobs need to be made unattractive through a reduction on emoluments.
The discussion should start around restructuring earnings within government.
The three agree that there needs to be reforms in the emoluments structure of government, but worried this might never see the light of the day.
If you are a Member of Parliament, you cannot be a Member of Parliament with the constituency and at the same time you are a minister, because you cannot have 2 full-time jobs.
Because once you're a minister, the whole country is your constituency. But when you appoint an MP to be a minister, that MP has a tendency of serving his constituency only with the ministry's resources.
Now, a recent post on X, formerly Twitter, by veteran journalist Charles Onyango highlighted a huge difference despite Kenya having a bigger economy than Uganda. So let's go down to that. Now, Uganda has a population of about 45.9 million people, while Kenya has a total population of 56.4 million people. Uganda has 82 ministers, while Kenya is considered the biggest economy in East Africa and has just 22. That's 60 less. Okay? Now, Uganda has a total of 136 presidential advisors who are advising the president on a range of issues, including poverty eradication. Kenya has only 7 presidential advisors. In terms of parliament ties, Uganda has 556 members of parliament, which could even grow. Kenya, on the other hand, has 416 legislators. In his ex-post, Onyango Obo also points to the number of registered surgeons in Uganda. Uganda has 120 surgeons, while Kenya, with less cabinet, less members of parliament, less presidential advisors, has focused on surgeons, and it has 600 surgeons. Now, Shamim Nabakuz joins us this evening to shed more light on this. Shamim, what's the implication of this size of cabinet on service delivery?
For the public, the bloated cost of administration is only felt when they cannot access health services because of unfunded priorities in the health sector. But yet government has a huge recurrent expenditure, talk of about 18 trillion shillings spent year per year, if not increasing in every financial year. So that does not augur well with people in the public questioning whether actually government earns out of having so many ministers or having many members of parliament, and then it becomes a challenge for them to keep filling this with requirements or opportunities to work, and yet them as a public, they're not in position to get what is due to them even when they invest that much in the infrastructure of government.